Welcome to another episode of the Two for One podcast. I'm your host, Dion, and joining me from the state where the picture camera was invented, it's my fellow co-host, the one, the only Nate Taylor. Nate, how you doing today?
I'm great. I've actually was the camera invented. Was Thomas Edison? Did he do that too? I forget. Yeah.
So
So
Google,
there's the
so Google tells
Edison.
me, yes.
Well, New Jersey has a town called Edison, which is actually where Carl Anthony Towns is from. And
Oh,
there's an Edison museum of like all this stuff he did, and I went to it when I was younger. So shout out the Edison Museum of Science or whatever it's called.
yeah.
Shout
Shout
out
out
Thomas
Thomas
Edison.
Edison. Yeah. Alrighty, I love it. I love it. Well, and joining us today, we have a very special guest, longtime friend of the show, and the only person that I know that can say that they struck up a conversation with none other than the uncle of in-season tournament legend Darvin Ham. It is Nick
Yes,
Wentz,
sir.
aka Laker Supply. Nick, thanks for being here. Your season debut on this podcast was long awaited, but we're glad to finally have you
Yes.
on the show. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, honestly. Just pretty laid back day, honestly. Not the best NBA season so far, but it'll get there, hopefully.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're gonna dive into all of that. But before we get into all the X's and O's for LA, I just want to set the proper context here for this Lakers season. Just talk to me a little bit about what sorts of expectations that you had coming into the year, and then how you've adjusted that now that we're pretty much halfway through the season.
Uh, I said before the year they'd be like a good regular season team, probably get like a top four seed, but they'd be a first round out in the playoffs if they got like the 4-5 matchup or the 3-6. I just don't think like the biggest issue is that last year we saw it too. LeBron and Luca didn't look good together. All three didn't look good together. And obviously the injury issues they've had this year hasn't helped things, but on the court it's pretty much played out the same way from what I've seen.
So like your expectations haven't changed at all. So basically, you're still in the same boat of it being, a hard out or a hard test to pass for the Lakers in the first round, no matter who they play of, I guess the Thunder, Spurs, Nuggets, or Timberwolves. Are there any of those teams that you would be confident in a playoff series against right now?
Uh I would say the Spurs, I would give them the edge just because Wemby's young and the rest of that team is young other than Fox and
Hmm.
Barnes. Um Timberwolves smoked them last year. Thunder's the Thunder. They have fared much better against Denver since the Luka trade,
Hmm.
but I mean even then I still think I would take Denver. Probably six, if I had to guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think, if it somehow ended up 4-5, I could see a world where the Lakers beat the Rockets, maybe depending on how the Rockets are looking. But I think they're probably right in line with where you expected them to be. I think that's probably perfect to say they're a good team, but they're clearly not in that top, tier right now, which is where they I think wanted to be with Luka and LeBron obviously on their team.
I'm honestly surprised that they're as good as they are. I mean,
Yeah.
24 and 15 at this point in the season was definitely higher than what my expectations were, but I think
Mm.
that when you dive into the numbers, it starts to make more sense. Like to be 24 and 15 with a negative point differential is like almost impossible. So I
Well,
think it's going to start to
when they
catch up.
lose, I think 10 of the 11 losses, or however many, there's only one loss that hasn't been by double digits. So
Wow.
when they lose big. And
I did not know that.
I think they've only lost one clutch game to this point this year, maybe two.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
they've
like
been really, really good in the
they
clutch
win
games.
close games. It's
Yeah.
just they don't also blow out the bad teams. They play down to their
Mhm.
competition. Like they got smoked by Charlotte last night. That should never have happened. The
Charlotte
rest,
all of a
or
sudden
not
is
last
looking
night, the
like
night
a
before.
looking like a juggernaut. I mean, they blew out OKC not too long ago.
I know. And
Yeah. So
they play Portland without Denny tonight. That should be a blowout, but I guarantee you it won't.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because I remember one of the games earlier this season was when Luca and Wemby faced off, and there was like a bajillion free throws, and that was all anyone talked about in that game was how down the stretch. But the Lakers played really well, regardless of what the calls were. The Lakers played the Spurs really well. They did what they wanted to do. Luca was throwing lobs to eight, and it felt like every other possession. And I think when you talk about close games, they are a really dangerous team, but they do that. They have the tendency to just play down to their competition. And I see a lot of what I see with the Lakers than I see with the Knicks, where they just come in expecting to get an easy win or whatnot, and then they play like they have a flat tire. And it's
Yep.
just, they come out the gate looking like they don't want to be there.
That's been a thing since LeBron signed, really. Well, not since the 19 year they kind of threw in the towel after everybody got traded or hurt, and then LeBron fucked up his ankle. The championship year never had that issue. They were undefeated. They took the lead into the fourth quarter.
Mm.
It was really since the bubble, like the season after the bubble, where they had that 6 week turnaround between the end of the season and training camp.
Hmm.
They just come into games expecting teams to bend over for him, and they don't.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the thing with today is that everyone goes to blame LeBron just because, he's easy to blame. But I think there's also a lot of the truth to him hurting the team. How much of the lethargic energy is that, to go and blame LeBron for? Because, they were still like that at times when he wasn't playing earlier in the season.
No, I think that that's just how they haven't had a culture since they traded for Russ because everyone's just been at odds with each other, like politically wise or politics. Um, like Rob, I don't think it takes a genius to figure this out. He does not know what he's doing. LeBron and Luca both are constantly bitching to the refs. And LeBron I think has more of a point than Luca does. If you watch the replays, like you can't tell on him as well as you can on like Jokic because it's always on his back, but LeBron walks away with like scratches and cuts on his arms all over the place and never gets any calls because it's almost like the Shaq and Dwight rule. He's just so much stronger than everybody else and always has been. And especially now that he's 41, like how do you ref him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
he's
it's
not
just
quite as
tough.
explosive, but he's still kind of bodying through people. Like you said, he's like stronger than everyone else still at this age. So it is kind of tough to gauge. What?
Yeah, sorry. The Knicks just the Suns are on a 12-0 run as soon as they had a lead. Um, sorry. But I think with LeBron, are you noticing a significant or like the off and on numbers were worse earlier in the season? Now LeBron's a negative 1.3 net rating, or the Lakers are negative point 1.3 with him on the court. Earlier in the season, it was way worse. Are you noticing that when LeBron's on the court versus when he's off of it, that they're playing better or worse, either on offense or defense?
No, they're definitely better. I think that like I said before, like for my expectations, I didn't think the fit was that good. And it's when he first got back from injury, he started off really rough. But I think now I saw a chart like when um Luca and Austin play together, just those two, they're like a plus 20 this season. If it's Luca and LeBron, they're like a plus 8,
Mm.
which or no, I'm sorry, they were like a minus 8. Now they're like a minus I think 1.3 actually. It's like one and a half, something stupid like that. So like they're turning it around. It's just the problem now is where it was always one plus the bench going on the runs. Now those runs are being given up. Like that's when other teams are starting to surge against them now. So the tables have kind of flipped on them. But it's just hard to really have like you can't really blame him because you can blame them for like their individual play, but the roster around them is just so one way.
Yeah.
Like there's just not a lot of options to give them, and like you shouldn't be asking 41-year-old LeBron to be like your wing stopper, like your low man rotators. He just can't do it.
Yeah, it's tough to strike that balance because you obviously want to put your best players on the floor together, but I think their three best guys, it just leaves so much responsibility on the other two guys on the court shoulders defensively.
Mhm.
Like, what sort of changes would you like to see in the rotation to try and solve this defense a little bit, or is the
I
personnel
mean,
just not
functionally
there?
speaking, there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
Like, you're capped with the guys that you have. If you're not going to see, I don't expect it from LeBron at 41. I like, yes, he's getting paid. I think the most money on the team this year. He might be second out behind Luca. I think he's behind Luca.
Let me check.
You can't ask him to be a top end two-way guy anymore. It's just unfair.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and that's where
Luca's
the
never going
thing.
to be that guy. Austin tries. Like I will give him credit for that. He does try more than the other two.
Yeah, you're correct. LeBron makes 52 million this year. Luca makes 45.999660
Yeah.
to be exact.
Okay.
I think the thing with people blaming LeBron for the defensive thing at this point, it was different when it was 5, 10 years ago when he should have been playing defense and still really wasn't. But at this point, when he's 41, you want him to be able to serve as much energy to be the offensive player, at least somewhat of the offensive player that he is capable of being. And when you have a roster like this, do you really think LeBron's going to go all in at 41 years of old to be their only defender? Like Nick was just saying, they have Marcus Smart, who is still not nearly as good as what he once was. And then that's it. Jared Vanderbilt can't play offense.
No, Jared Vanderbilt's legitimately the worst offensive player in the league. And the splits with him and Luca playing, like they hemorrhage points. They hemorrhage leads. It's so bad.
I honestly don't feel like I mean, he's a good defensive player, but I don't like doesn't nearly make up enough for the
Well,
fact
yeah,
that
it's not
he's
even
just
No,
so
close.
he's
You
a
have
zero
good
on
so
offense.
he's a good like team and system defender. If you ask
Yeah.
him, you can't like throw him out like you could Jada McDaniels. Throw him out on like any of the top wings and he's going to be a two-way impact. Vando is a I will funnel you to my generational big and AD and Gobert and let them just deter you at the rim. That's what he was really good at. He's
Hmm.
not staying in front of anybody.
Yeah, he's
Not
like
at
an
this point with
added.
the foot injuries he's had.
Yeah, he's
Dude,
an additive
Jared
defensive piece.
when I was younger, when Jared Vanderbilt was like coming out of college or out of high school, and he was like this, big 5 star. He was a 5 star, I'm pretty sure, at some point, and he was just this monster, like this 6'8" dude who's supposed to dribble the ball a little bit. He's built like a tight end, and he's just never been able to put it together, other than for
Mm-mm.
like a season and a half, 2 seasons where he got a little bit of a payday, and then the
Mhm.
offense is gen. I will agree with you on that. He is one of the most putrid offensive players I've probably ever seen.
Yeah, he'll
It's
randomly hit like
terrible.
a couple corner threes in a game, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. But no, the
Then he'll go eight
overall.
straight, not even coming close.
Yeah, right. It's just
He'll
it's
do his
pretty
best
bad.
Dyson Daniels impression where he doesn't hit a three for a month straight.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
bad.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's much that can be done defensively. Like I thought Rui was going to step up in a big way and kind of be that guy that they were going to lean on to guard those bigger wings.
I mean,
I
you just
felt like,
can't. Like,
yeah,
you
I
can't.
feel
I
like this
can't
might.
blame somebody for being asked to
Mhm,
do something that they can't do. Like,
mhm.
that's just unrealistic.
Yeah, and going back
Yeah,
to LeBron, like I still feel like there's plenty left in the tank for him as a contributing player on a good team, but I just think this is the worst roster that you could put around him as far as the support. There's just nothing there as far as like the defensive personnel. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, you talked about it. You said your expectations were first round exit. But I do feel like if they lose in the first round, it's going to feel like from a media standpoint that it's going to be like a disappointment.
Well, anytime you have LeBron, you're supposed to be competing for a championship. I think that that's been made clear through Rich Paul's podcast comments that no one agrees with.
Yeah.
he's
Um,
been on a he's doing his little MPJ tour. Not quite as bad, but
yeah,
he's just saying whatever the hell he wants to say.
yeah, it's not going well for him.
He's telling LeBron or talking about LeBron's teammates saying they should be traded for other players and whatnot. Like that's a great thing to go and do when you
Yeah, we
have a
suggest
lot of
Austin Reeves for Jaren Jackson Jr.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I
It's one
actually
thing to
thought,
say like trades need to be made to make the team better, but you can't go out and fucking trade machine name drop people. That's
Yeah.
that's absurd.
That's like if Scott Boras were to go. I don't know how much you follow baseball, Nick, but Scott Boras is essentially like own or the agent for half of the star players, if not more, in
Oh,
the
I
league.
know.
Yeah, that's it's like yeah, that's if Scott Boras went on a podcast and was like, before Kyle Tucker signed or whatever, I think the Yankees should move on from Cody Bellinger and go get Kyle Tucker or something like that. You can't go
Yeah,
and instigate stuff when you're
it's
an
not even,
agent.
and it's not even going on. It's Rich Paul's podcast. Like
yeah.
it's
It's
his
him
pod
and
that he's just been
Max
producing.
Kellerman.
Yeah. I
Just go on there and
honestly,
bullshit.
yeah, I
The
had
Scott Boras
expectations that
pod.
it would be producing a lot of good clips. I didn't think it'd be a good pod, but I thought it would produce a lot of good content. But I think it has just in the opposite direction. Rich Paul has just been, like you said, just spewing nonsense.
Yeah, that's been
Um,
it's been funny to watch though.
yeah, yeah, it's been enjoyable in a negative way, I guess you could say.
I mean, it's kind of funny because you're just like sitting there like, oh wow, he actually said that. It's just like,
Yeah.
because did you see the thing of I think Austin Reeves' agent went up to Rich Paul at one of
Oh, at
the
mid-court
recent.
of a halftime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I mean credit to Austin's people for calling him on his shit.
Yeah, honestly, good shit on Austin's representatives. He got the right
Mm.
people. Actually, I kind of want to transition to that a little bit because there have been the trade talks of Giannis obviously eventually getting moved. What is your level of comfortability trading for Giannis if it took something like Austin Reeves and the remainder of your tradable first round picks?
I don't think they do it because they'd be in the same situation that they're in now. I also don't think it's gonna sound stupid. I don't think Luca and Austin fit the best because Luca and Giannis, excuse me, don't fit the best because Giannis hates setting screens. When he does, he rolls hard, but he just doesn't like to do it, and he
Yeah.
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
always make
bizarre.
the best
It doesn't make
contact.
sense.
Yeah, like that's the one piece of his game that's always been missing that he can like realistically improve on. I don't think that they fit well together. I think that Giannis is also too ball dominant. That's why him and Dame didn't work out.
Yeah.
Like they both, I think they were the highest point per game combo in the league both years that Dame was healthy, but still, that didn't have any
Yeah.
functional.
It was basically taking turns, which is not what you
Yeah.
want out of two guys who you're going to be paying 50 plus $1 million a year. You need that to work as a cohesive unit, which is why LeBron and Luca I think has been frustrating.
Hmm.
Have you seen
Definitely
any?
has.
Like, have you seen anything this season that tells you or gives you a glimpse or a glimmer of hope that the LeBron and Luca thing can work its way out and at least maybe get past the first round?
I think that I think that there are options. Like offensively, I think that they've underwhelmed me pretty in a pretty major way. Like I expected JJ to come in and call more set plays more frequently than he did because he sure as hell called Darvin Ham out it whenever he was the coach. So like we are very unorganized, and he'll say it in his post-game pressers like, "Oh, we were unorganized tonight. I don't know if that's my fault or the player's fault." Like you're the one calling the plays. If they're not listening to you, put them on the bench, chew them out, throw them back in. Like it's that simple.
All right. I
Are you
wanted
fed up
to.
with JJ? Oh, sorry.
Oh, so, no, go ahead.
Are you fed up with JJ at all? Because I know a lot of
No.
feeders.
I can't be mad. Like I'm not gonna be mad at a chef when the fucking restaurant owner goes and buys him straight off the dumpster or stuff off the dumpster.
Yeah, I mean that's it's like asking, even if you give a Michelin star chef a bunch of, you give him a Lunchable, maybe the Eric Spoelstras of the world would be able to cook something up, but I think,
Not a second year
yeah,
coach who's
exactly.
had no
Like to blame
experience.
if JJ gets fired or whatever after the season because of the expectations
Mm.
not being met, I think that's going to be a stupid decision because I think he's a good coach. I think you're just asking a second year coach who was never half the player that LeBron was to basically control a locker room that LeBron is still really, in control of. And I know JJ and LeBron have that friendship dynamic, but it also almost feels like the way that things have been said in post game pressers that that's waned to some extent.
I don't think it's them. I think it really all comes back to Rob. Like at the end of the day, whenever Mark Walters like firmly takes control over the Lakers like he has the Dodgers, I'm not
Mhm.
saying, different rules for free agency and whatnot. Like I'm not expecting a Kyle Tucker every offseason. But I just think that you need people in-house who are experienced working with others in a way that Rob wasn't. Like Rob has relationships, but it's where he was arguing and competing with these GMs to get the better payday for his clients, and that has carried over to as a GM. Like people just legitimately don't like him.
Mm.
I mean, had he not been gifted Luca on a silver platter, they'd be in a shit situation.
Is there?
Because like as much as I love him, like AD has been hurt. So I think part of it's the Mavs training staff too, honestly, where they just have never really held up the best. But he's missed so many games. The first part of the season before he got hurt, he looked fat and out of shape because of the eye surgery. And I don't know if you guys know anything about eye surgery. Like you can't do anything for 2 months because the slightest movement that's too quick, your retina detaches.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Did
like
not
it's
know
very
that.
serious. Like you can't do anything. You can't stay up cardio shape. Like you sit there and do nothing.
Wow.
Oof. How long was he doing that for?
Like 2 months.
Whew.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I did not realize that.
I think
I
that's
definitely
actually
It's
noticed that
really
he came
important.
extensive.
in out of shape, but
I think
Yeah.
that's a really important detail then that, because you're a medical guy, I guess you know better than most people. So, wow, I had no idea that he was just basically sitting on his ass for 2 months while his eye was
Yeah.
attaching itself again.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not like
wow.
I've been following the Mavs too because I'm not following him away from the Lakers, but like I'm gonna keep up with him and
Mhm.
his team, and that's been like hell to sit through. And if he, honest to God, he's lucky he's not in LA because the media would be eating him up. At least in Dallas, he can kind of hide, but
Yeah.
just not been a good year for him. Some like you've got 80 in and out, not playing the best. LeBron mostly out. Same for 80. They've been mostly out together. Like you'd still have Austin, but who knows what plays out injury wise with him. He might get hurt earlier where he's having to cover for both guys early. It's just you can't let somebody whose entire career has been defined by two trades continue to lead, or three trades, I guess, continue to lead the ship.
What
Yes.
was like the last good thing that he did before the Luca trade? Is there something that obvious that I'm missing off the top of my head? Because the Rui trade, what did he trade to get Rui?
It's like two second round picks or three
Not
second
Gabe
round picks.
Vincent, Kevin Nunn in 3 seconds.
All right, that wasn't a bad deal, I guess, but
Injured.
that's not like a job saving or defining,
No,
deal.
I like the to get off of Russ, it was laid out for him. Buddy and Miles for Russ and two firsts. Both those guys would probably still be the team right now because D'Lo you traded for DFS who walked, so that's a wasted asset.
Hey, that sucked.
Malik Beasley's team contract you canceled, that's the wasted asset. And now Jared Vanderbilt has one of the worst contracts in the league. You'd have to salary dump a first for to get rid of.
Yeah, it's hard to argue your case right there. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think
Yeah.
I'd be taking that case against you if I was a lawyer.
No.
Fair.
Wow.
I wanted to dive a little bit more into the rotation and just see kind of like what tweaks you'd like to see made. They've pretty much stuck with the same starting lineup, save for injuries here. And I have some thoughts, but I wanted to see what you were thinking as far as how JJ Redick is handling this rotation.
I think that your three best players need to start no matter the fit because, like, politics wise in the locker room and with agents, that's just going to
Hmm.
screw you over otherwise, unless they volunteer themselves. I think that they can make it work, but you have to have the right pieces around them. I don't think, like, DeAndre Ayton's been great this year, but he's not what the team needs. Marcus Smart has been good. Like, I think he's met expectations,
Hmm.
but again, like you said earlier, this is 2025, now 2026. This isn't 2020 and 21. Um, and his has been falling apart on him over the last couple of years too. So you can't rely on him to do all the dirty work. They need to bring in like more youth to the lineup. Like Nick Smith Jr. has been great. I would like to see Kobe Buffkin get a shot from the G League. Like he got called up for the last game, played some good garbage time minutes. They just need like youth guys who can go in, do the dirty work. They're going to dive on the floor for loose balls. They're going to energize the lineup, and they're going to be in the lineup consistently.
Hmm.
That was
The
actually something I was confused about. Was I thought Nick Smith played really well in the few games where he got extra minutes, and then he was just phased out of the rotation after one or two off shooting nights. Or is there like a reason for
Gabe
him?
Vincent came back from injury.
And that's just because they have to play him because they're paying him money, and they,
Correct.
yeah, okay.
Yes.
More mismanagement than I guess seems to be, a common trend here with this team.
Yeah, they miss on the peripherals and the margins so much that it has currently like destroyed the core.
Because
I'll be
Nick Smith is
honest.
probably your best young player that you have,
Yeah.
because Austin Reeves is 27 years old.
Yeah, and Dalton Connect is just
Yeah.
other
I
than
can't
that
believe
hot
he's
month
honestly plays as much as he does,
November.
Dalton Connect. I thought that it was just going to be a matter of time before he just like either phased his way off the Lakers or out of the league, but he's played pretty much every single game this season.
He has. It's been like in the losses, it's been a lot of garbage time,
Yeah.
and then with injuries, he's gotten spot minutes. But like when he's on the court, he just looks lost. Like we're currently in year two of JJ's playbook, and he doesn't know plays being called. That everyone else on the court, Nick Smith Jr.'s been with the team like bounced back and forth between the G League, and he knows the plays better
Mm.
than a guy who's been here for this is his second year.
Yeah, and JJ has been
You
subtweeting him too in the press conferences about it.
Yeah, not subtly either.
Yeah.
wait, what's he been saying about him?
He was just saying
There
like
was
how
one
certain
game
guys don't know
directly, like
plays, they don't know certain terminology.
yeah.
So I was just saying, do you think it's the trade that messed up his confidence? But
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
even
for
know how
sure.
the.
No, I think that the trade was part of it, but also he was starting to fall off before. Like he had a really,
Hmm.
really good November, but once he started popping up on scouting reports come December, I don't want to say fell off, but like he came back down to earth, we'll
Hmm.
say.
There's not a
Yeah.
lot of room for spot up shooters who can't shoot in the NBA.
Yeah,
I was surprised
which
to
just,
hear you say that you think Aiton's been really good this season. I haven't necessarily loved what I've seen from him, so just talk a little more
I
about
mean,
what you
I
think he
don't
brings to
think
the team.
that I love that, not love. I like what he has done on the contract and given the means that it took to get him, which was just
Hmm.
letting Dorian Finney-Smith walk, who hadn't played up until Christmas Day. Um, If that's all it took, fine, great. It's a great stopgap. At the end of the day, what it really boils down to is like this year, I've the front office is viewed as a gap year to get to the summer when they have three tradable firsts and expiring salary slots that have opened up for cap space to
Right.
absorb people in trades, et cetera, et cetera. Um, it was never viewed as a serious competitive year, which is why you had LeBron and Rich Paul in the offseason and going into the offseason making so much noise about his future.
Do you think this is LeBron's last season with the Lakers then?
I do. I think that they're headed towards a
Yeah.
amicable split unless he's willing to come back on a serious, serious discount. And I don't know how realistic LeBron's going to be about that. He's all ever since Miami, he's been about getting every single penny he can.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if he's going to look to make another max contract, if he's going to make as much as the team can give him. I have said for the last like 2, 3 years now, just take the minimum. Take a discount. Sign for the non-tax MLE because you make triple your salary in endorsements a year.
Hmm.
Like realistically speaking, and this is gonna sound like very, I don't want to say selfish, but kind of selfish in a way. I think you can ask the billionaire to take a discount when he has multiple other means of revenue,
Yeah.
if it means the team around him is going to be better and more competitive.
Well, I think that's just been indicative of LeBron's entire career to me is his unwillingness to really take a meaningful pay cut pretty much the entirety of his later years. He's taken a few dollars off of the max amount of money he's gotten here and there, but it's never been enough to really make a big difference other than signing an extra player or two. And look at the Tim Duncans, the Dirk Nowitzkis. I know they're rare cases, but there's also it's a rare case to be an impactful player in year 18 to 20. Those guys were willing to take pay cuts, and that's why those guys were still competing for championships. In their later seasons, even though Dirk's was not quite as late as Tim Duncan. It's still I think LeBron isn't good enough to the point where he can be making 50 plus $1 million a year and still fielding a competitive roster around him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't. It wouldn't be an issue if it were him, but it's him plus Luca that are taking up so much spots, or so much salary cap space, and they both have the same strengths and weaknesses
Hmm.
to varying degrees. And then Austin's only making, I think,
I think at
13
14 right
million, rounding
now,
up to
but
14.
yeah, 14.
So like that's negligible. I think that's like less than 10% of the salary cap at this
Yeah,
point.
Mhm.
that's really nice.
Yeah, I had two other contract questions I want to ask you about the Lakers. So heading into next season, what do you think
Mhm.
happens with the DeAndre Ayton $8 million player option?
Um, I think that his agent's gonna have to do a lot of work before his buzzer on his option to figure out if a team's gonna offer him more than eight. I think just based off reputation, he's probably gonna pick it up and stay with the team. But there's still a lot of there's like 30 some games left, 40 some games left. There's still time.
Right. And then the big one, because you said you think that LeBron, this is last year with the Lakers. Bronny James has a non-guaranteed $2.3 million for next season. What do you think happens to Bronny, especially if LeBron's out of LA?
Um, I think for agent politics, it would be in their best interest to keep him
Hmm.
because you don't want to piss off Rich Paul and Clutch more than you already have. Like that's a huge clientele base in the league. Unless they come to you and say, "Hey, we appreciate you giving him a shot in the league. We would like for him to follow LeBron." If that team's, I feel like LeBron's gonna ask for it to be a stipulation.
Yeah.
So,
Let me bring my son to your team, or I will not play.
and Bronny has been good in the time that I've seen him play this year. Now, granted, I haven't seen every minute of garbage time where I'm working 12-hour shifts. Like I
Hmm.
genuinely don't have the energy to stay up for
To
Yeah.
watch
blowouts.
garbage time
Yeah,
Lakers
I'm
games.
not
Yeah.
up scouting Nick Smith Jr. and Bronny minutes against the fourth string G League team in the
Yeah.
league.
Fair
Fair.
enough. Yeah. Can't blame you.
Speaking of fair, I guess. I don't know. That's not really a transition. The Pacers have 24 points in the first half.
Whoa, against who?
The Pistons. There's 44 seconds
Oh,
left in
that
the
makes
first half,
sense.
and they have 24 points.
What? That doesn't sound very fair.
Well, they are missing like six different rotation guys. Like there's no
Yeah,
Siakam, there's no Nebhard. I
they
think
are
their entire
shooting.
starting
Oh my
five's
God,
out.
they're 10 for 42 and 1 for 18 from three.
Jeez. I have to
And
confirm
they're 3
this.
for 9 from the line.
I need to confirm this because I can only think of three and not four, but I did see someone said the
They have
Pacers have
13
10.
turnovers too.
Jeez. The Pacers have 10 wins this season. Four of them are Siakam game winners. I just think that's
Seriously.
that's a
And
crazy number. I
honestly,
can
like
only
now that you said it makes sense because I feel like I've seen so many notifications this year. Siakam game winner, and
yeah.
then I'm like,
He had
oh,
one
how did
against the
this?
Celtics. He had one the other day. I can't think of the fourth. I don't
He had
know.
one against. Did he have one against the Raptors?
I think it did.
Yeah. All right, coming back now, just to cleanly wrap things up here, I had one more point I wanted to discuss because we did briefly kind of gloss over it, talking about LeBron not coming back to LA next season. So I wanted to ask you, Nick, what destinations you do see for him, and do you think retirement is possibly one of those options for next season?
I mean, I think it's always an option, especially whenever you're finishing up your 23rd year in any league. I think that LeBron's also keenly aware of how guys leave the league. Like, look how Chris Paul left the league, Melo left. Compare it to like how Kobe, Jordan, those guys went out in their final
Dude,
years.
it's-
Look at Brady, even in the NFL. Like he retired after Tampa Bay won the championship, got guilted. He came back purely out of spite because I think Fox reported it before he got the chance to announce it, and then retired the year after that. So I think that he's gonna want to go out on his terms, and he's gonna make everyone aware. Like this is like these are my plans. This is my last year. I think that he'll want the retirement tour. He'll want to get the love
Yeah.
and the celebration that Kobe got,
Yeah, the only
which
reason
fully
why I think
deserved.
the only reason why I think it might be this season as his last is because of that patch that they're putting on his jersey, the 23rd season patch.
the
That is
tops.
kind of like
Yeah,
why are you doing that now if he's going to come back next year? But I do
I
think
think it's just because of the jersey number, like 23 years. We're in
It's
number
yeah, it's
23.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I'm pretty
sure,
sure
I
it
guess
literally
so.
is just the significance of the 23 number. And I don't think there's anybody in any sport more who wants a retirement tour than LeBron
Yeah, that's what I was
James.
going to say.
So I don't think
Yeah.
that, especially with Nick was talking about how he's very conscious of every penny that he's making. He's going to make so much more money from the extra advertisements,
Oh
the
my
special
God,
edition merchandise, and everything
dude,
from his.
Nike is gonna go
Yeah,
insane.
the,
He is
the
going to make.
documentary, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
coming.
think you
Like
you
they
talk
might have to
about.
mandate it.
Yeah, there's something in LeBron has to sign. You are going on a retirement tour. We are going to make a shit ton of money, and you're going to get a lot of that money. And you're going to play even if you don't feel like it. I so wouldn't be shocked if he just goes to Cleveland just because, and Cleveland's like, oh, we need a small forward or whatever. That's the only place if they keep their roster together, I could see LeBron potentially going for like a minimum or something. Is
Mm.
if he wants to go back to Cleveland and he's like, okay, I'm going to make all this money from a retirement tour anyways.
His ego is going to come in like with any great player. This can sound like a shot, but it's not. But his ego is going to come in. He's going to want to be, I'm the missing piece for this team. We can win with me. He's not going to want to go to a team where shit's stacked in his favor and they cakewalk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if a team
He could though at this
like
point.
Cleveland, like you said, like oh like we're a LeBron away, like a year 24 LeBron
Hmm.
away. I think that he would go there. I think he'd try to get as much money as he could. I think that I don't think he would go to Golden State just to play with Steph and Dre and his buddies for the simple fact that he's playing with his friends. He's going to want to go somewhere that he can validate to Savannah of all people. I can win here.
You know what I'm
I'll be
scared
gone
of?
for a year.
I also think like the Golden State thing, like I just can't see him playing for someone else's team. Like I know Luca has kind of taken the reins since arriving in
But
LA,
it was
but
taken
obviously like he
from
was there.
LeBron.
Yeah, but like LeBron was
That's
there
what he
first.
always
Yeah.
wanted. He wanted AD to take it from him, and there were
Mhm.
moments when he did, but like in the fan base and the eyes of the franchise and sales and everything that is off the court, nobody's was ever going to pass LeBron except for Luca or Giannis, who's an international guy
Yeah. Yeah, I just
or
can't see like
Jokic.
if Steph were to ever leave Golden State, maybe I could see them teaming up if that would ever happen, but I can't see LeBron like joining Curry's team.
I can't either. I think he saw the hell that KD got for it in 17,
Yeah.
even though different players.
I'm scared of LeBron trying to force his way to New York is what I'm scared of because I do not want him anywhere
Well,
near. Well, there were the talks about Rich Paul talking about New York or whatever, and back when there was the LeBron, trade discussions in the offseason or towards the end of last season, he's always talked about having wanting to play or not having wanting to play in New York, but maybe it was his second option, next to Miami and Cleveland, back in 2000, whatever the hell it was.
I
I
thought it
think
was the Bulls. They were going to sign with
Was
the
it?
Bulls, and then the Bulls that cheaped out. Yeah. I think
that sounds accurate. That
it was
sounds more accurate.
Chicago, then Miami, then New York, I
Oh,
think.
okay. I
Like
thought
I
the race
think
was
that it was
between New
almost a done
York.
deal with Chicago.
Okay. I was very young at the time, admittedly. I was
Nate,
probably 8 years old.
I think one of the first conversations we ever had when we teamed up was actually discussing LeBron to New York and how you thought that could actually because I mean this is like
Yeah,
three
at the
iterations of the
time,
Knicks
but
ago.
dude, I'd
Yeah.
never be able to go to a game either.
Oh yeah, forget
Tickets
about
would
it.
be
Oh,
seven hundred
oh my
dollar
Yeah,
God.
forget
minimums.
about it. No. I
Like
mean,
I was gonna try and go to the Lakers Cavs game at the end of the month. It's like for nosebleeds, like $300 a ticket.
oh my God. And it'll be sold out. It'll
It's
be
not even
sold
the
out as well.
return the retirement tour even.
Yeah. Oh yeah, next season as
Dude,
soon as he
how
comes
much are
back.
those
Yeah.
tickets gonna be?
Oh my God. Yeah, his last like
If they're
his
home
very last
games,
game.
like if he's in Cleveland,
Yeah,
Is LeBron gonna play all 82 in his last season, just
there's no
regardless of
way.
injury?
no, I can't see that. No.
Because
I think he
imagine if you
would
buy. How many
He
games did
he is
Kobe
very
play
big about
during his
playing every game he
retirement tour?
can.
that's a good question actually. Be curious to know.
Look it up because I
But
don't
why,
know.
yeah, while you look that up, I wanted to just get into our final topic here, just transitioning into the long-term vision of this Lakers team. So obviously, like you were saying, this is kind of like a transition year for this team. But who do you look at as far as outside like the obvious names? Who are some guys that you think definitely need to stick around for the next iteration of this team versus like who is kind of just here for the short term?
66 games in Kobe's last year
Yeah,
of
as I say, he
82.
played
Hmm.
66. Yeah.
I think that the only two people who should be locked in long term are not Braun, Luca and Austin.
Okay.
Like they're the only two. I think that it has been proven that Luca looks best next to a ball dominant guard who can also create his own shot. Brunson and Kyrie, now Austin.
Hmm.
The numbers back it up. They play beautiful basketball together. this is going to sound incredibly stupid, but they have got to find like two-way players at every position to compensate for them.
Hmm.
Like they need, ironically enough, they need an Anthony Davis at center.
Yeah, yeah, honestly.
Um, they could use the Pelicans are never going to trade either one of these guys specifically to the Lakers, but Trey Murphy and Herb Jones would be perfect. I think that Wiggins would be a good stopgap.
Hmm.
What do you think about Keon Ellis?
I think that the Kings want a first for him, and much like the Heat want a first for Wiggins, that's asinine. It's not happening. Um, I saw like people online Twitter or on Twitter the other day talking like Rob should trade the 2032 first to split it up into multiple firsts, and then we can have like up to five
Yeah,
tradable
how'd that
firsts
work
over the
out for the
summer.
Suns? How'd that work out for the Suns when they did that about a year
They
ago?
have recovered well.
They have
You got
recovered
to give
well,
them
but how
credit.
did that trade work out? What did they get for? I think they got what, Royce O'Neal?
Yeah, but I think the issue isn't what they spent it on, it's that they had the optionality after they did it to do whatever they needed. That's what really matters. Like,
I guess
there
so.
might be a stupid GM somewhere that could take it to his owner. Well, we're getting three instead of one. This is such a much better deal. Like,
Maybe.
if the
It
Lakers
just
were to
depends
do
on what
that and
those
offer
picks
three
are.
firsts for Trey Murphy, I think that Gail Benson would be like, yeah, it's three firsts for Trey Murphy. That's more than anybody got for Trey Young.
I guess.
And
I don't know. I had my Pelicans rant. I don't think they should make any trades like that, but
I don't either. I don't, especially they shouldn't give up on Trey Murphy a year after they gave up on Brandon Ingram specifically for Trey Murphy.
right. Yeah.
But it's the Pelicans anyway. Like they need that type of player to for their
I think your best.
point guard spot, their small forward spot, and their center spot.
Mhm.
Because you Luka cannot function as a guard. Defensively and for rotation purposes, he has got to be a forward.
Yeah, I think what you need to succeed around an Austin Reeves and Luka duo is just defenders and shooters. You don't need a whole lot of shot creators outside of those two. They can carry the load for the most part. Maybe get an extra guy like a Jordan Clarkson type who you can play spot minutes off of the bench. But
Yeah, you,
really,
you get a third shot creator, but you don't need two ball dominant or
yeah,
three ball
no.
dominant
Yeah,
guys like we
exactly.
have now.
You need shooters and defenders, guys that can play multiple positions. It's just that's what everyone in today's league wants. So it's really hard to get those kind of guys. That's why,
Right.
like the Mikal Bridges, I know partly because of the Nets tax, but why he's going for 5 first round picks. Why those type of players are so valuable is because they can fit in anywhere and just seamlessly, mold to wherever they're put. I wasn't actually. I was gonna. I don't know. I don't know who the real targets are right now for the Lakers. That's the issue. Is with this with until like the LeBron thing is solved.
Your
I'm
options are limited.
yeah. I'm so out on the Lakers until LeBron is
Mhm.
off the team.
And it's not even his fault. Like
No,
you
it's
just
not.
Yeah.
you
But it's
can't
really
the same thing we talked about earlier. You can't blame guys for having redundancies when that's just how the roster's built.
yeah.
Can I blame LeBron because the restraints put on the roster with his salary? Yes, but like at the same time, other GMs make it work. Brad Stevens makes it work.
That's a short list.
Like if there's a
GM Brad
list, like
Stevens.
I can't. I'm
Yeah.
blanking on like other like Raphael Stone made it work with KD. Who
I
took
mean,
over
the
for the
Knicks have a
Suns?
million 30+ dollar million per year contract on their roster. They still have it somehow. It's not working though.
Yeah, yeah, it's a different
Yeah,
discussion. But yeah, no, there's
Who
ways to
else
get
is
it
like that
done better
though?
than this.
there have been so many transaction cycles where we're stuck in the mud, like we're just not doing anything.
I
Hmm.
think the Pistons are
That
actually a
it,
pretty good example. They had Tobias Harris's um, deal, or no, they just re-signed him. He was on the Sixers. I'm drunk.
Yeah, I don't know what
I'm
you're referring to.
drinking alcohol. I'm an alcoholic.
Nick, are you
Jesus.
expecting the Lakers to make a trade at the deadline?
I think if they do, it's on the margins. I know that they should love to flip. Like you can't walk into the summer with $80 million expiring. They've got to find something for Rui if they're not bringing him back, which they shouldn't because he's redundant with Luca,
Hmm.
unless he agrees to come off the bench in a reduced role. You got to get something for him, for Gabe Vincent, for Maxi Kleber. No one's giving you anything for Vando, so you can rule that one out.
Yeah.
But those three expirings right there, and I feel like we have another that I'm forgetting.
So that's 40 mil right there. LeBron's on an expiring, Jackson Hayes expiring.
Oh yeah, the minimums, so
Yeah.
they're not going to
And then
really
a bunch you
stack
got
up to
some player
anything.
options with guys, but
Yeah, but like that right, like you said, that's $40 million with optionality, the different combos. You can go and get an impact or two impact players for that money. I don't think that Rob Pelinka is creative enough to get it done, but like there are options at the deadline to look not for this season, but to look for beyond too.
hmm,
Like they need to be prioritizing over the next like 5 years.
gotcha.
Watch, I'll go get like Jeremy Sohan and call it a day.
Jesus.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
last
I'll
point
probably
here.
trade for Jeremy Grant and call it a day,
Oh,
honestly,
jeez.
finally.
Oh, no. Actually, like fit wise, it's not that bad, but yeah, no, the contract,
Yeah, no, not for
it's
that
pretty
money.
tough. It's
Remember that thing we said last offseason where if everything works out perfectly for the Blazers, like if Denny turns into this and Scoots
Mhm.
this and Shaden's this and Jeremy Grant retire Mitch said like if Jeremy Grant retires and forgives all the money they're supposed to owe him.
And he was pretty good to start the season too, and then he's just been hurt, and he just has
Yeah.
not been impactful at all the last like 2 months.
Story of his
But
career
yeah, pretty much.
since he left
Um,
Denver, at least.
yeah. Well, I had one last thing for you, unless Nate, you had anything else you want to get off your
How
chest.
many last things do you have? I think
You're
we have the
yeah, all right, all
last
right, you're right, you're right.
stop saying the
I
last
promise
thing
this.
if it's
I
not
promise
the
this is my
last
last
thing.
one. This promise is my last one. So Austin Reeves has a $15 million player option for next season. Obviously, that will be declined. What sort of market are you expecting? And are you bringing him back, sort of, no matter the price?
You have to, you got to bring him back because he's worth so much to you, but at the price tag, you're not gonna get anything about like true value back.
Mhm.
Um, I I would need to see who the cap space teams are. Hold on, I'll because I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Well, I
but
actually
like,
think
what's
also
the number
though,
you're kind of comfortable with? You would say.
I would pay him up to 40.
Mm.
I think there would be some wiggle room. I wouldn't go north of 45
Wow.
by any means, but I think that the fit he has with Luca and the skill set that he provides, and he's continued to get better every year, you've got to reward that. Like he has proven he is worth that contract.
I mean, if
I know it
Emmanuel quickly is
sounds
making
awful, if,
35.
huh?
I mean, if Emmanuel quickly is making
Yeah, I mean,
35.
I don't like
Correct.
using other. I don't like using bad contracts as
No, I know.
justification for a different contract. But that. So if it came in at like 4 for 170 with a player option, you'd be totally fine.
Say it again. If it was what with the player option?
Like 4 for 170 with a player option. So a little over
That's like
48.
42 and a half. Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Okay. Nate, where do you stand
I think
on
it's a little
Austin Reeves
steep. Like, I'd
value?
probably be cool giving him like 35, 40. I think there's a world though where Reeves is cool taking like 35-ish million or less than whatever, a little less than whatever he's going to get in the open market because I genuinely believe that he wants to be a Laker and doesn't really want to go anywhere else if, the
Yeah.
choice is his. So if the money is comparable to another team, I still think he's going to opt to sign for the Lakers for less if that's,
Yeah, because also
the
being
options
on
he
the
has.
Lakers versus like if you went to like I don't know like the Grizzlies or
He
something, like
he
he's gonna
likes
make way more endorsement money that way.
well,
You know what I mean? So it
he
makes
chose
Yeah.
to go to the Lakers after he was undrafted, or chose to go undrafted partially because he didn't want the second round,
right.
uncertainty of where he was going to go. He wanted to go to the Lakers. He knows his role in the Lakers. The Lakers value him. He has, a rapport with his head coach. Him and Luca get along really well, and they play really well together. There's so many things pointing towards Austin Reeves being better for him to stay that I think he knows that. He seems like a smart guy. His agent's going to stick up to Rich Paul. I respect them for that. So hopefully they know what they're doing in the negotiation side of things. But I would be really shocked to see if Austin Reeves opted and left the Lakers in free agency if it wasn't like a trade for Giannis.
Hmm.
And even then, I don't think they would do because they're
Yeah,
like Genie and them are so big on having homegrown talent at the the
yeah.
hometown kid. Like
Yeah.
that's what Austin is. They don't have any other marketable talent like that now that
Yeah.
Dalton Connect has
He's their guy.
fallen off to like a high school shooter.
Yeah.
All right. Don't more Dalton Connect strays here on the 2 for 1 podcast.
Yeah, I think that might be the last Dalton Connect discussion we have on the season. But
Probably.
I think that probably wraps us up. Nate, do you have anything else?
No, I
I
think we're
promise I
wrapped
got
up nice
nothing
and
else.
we're gonna get Nick out of here and
All right.
swiftly.
Yes, sir. Yes, Nick, I appreciate you coming on. It's always a blast to have you. We'll definitely have you on again at some point by the end of the
Yes.
season. We'll see where this Lakers season ends up. They are the fourth seed right now, but as we mentioned,
No,
negative
they're
point
not.
differential. We'll see how that.
They're
Oh,
not the
did they drop
fourth
from
seed. They're
fourth?
the sixth
Did
seed.
they
I mean,
fell?
the Western Conference changes every day. My apologies, but
Brother.
they're right in that mix.
No,
I
yeah,
mean,
they're
they're
sixth.
tied for fifth, but yeah, we'll see where it ends up. I'm excited to see these Western
Bring me
Conference
back after the
playoffs.
trade deadline when AD's on another team and the Lakers look the exact same and I can still
Mm.
cry.
And Bronny's starting.
Oh, Doc, God, don't wish that on me. He's been good, but he's not
Yeah,
still brawny.
he's good. Yeah, as far as like barely justified
All right.
getting
I hope
there,
you guys
but
all enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other socials in the below on the description. If you're listening to the audio, do it anyways. Go find us somehow. And hope you have a great rest of your day.